This is Tim Tucker, AE6LX from worldwidedx.com. Today we're looking at the Retevis Ailunce HA1UV. This is an IP67 waterproof rugged radio. It is brand new, it just came out. I've been working with Retevis on this radio for about 6 months through the beta testing process, but this is a production radio. Now, before we jump in and look at some of the features of this radio, you should know that Retevis just gave away 3 of these radios for free in a drawing for January to members of worldwidedx.com. We've been having monthly drawings for several different manufacturers. Retevis has been a great sponsor, promoting their products and getting their stuff out to ham enthusiasts, CB enthusiasts, just basic radio hobby enthusiasts. If you're not a member of worldwidedx.com, you should go over and check it out. It's free. It's a forum-based site. Our goal is to just help each other out with the radio hobby and might have a chance to win some free stuff. So now let's take a look at the radio. The HA1UV is being marketed by Retevis towards beginners in the ham radio space, but obviously it really can be used by anyone. Their goal was to make a very simple to use interface that people could just pick up and quickly learn how to use without a lot of trouble. They based the radio off of the already popular HA1G, which is a GMRS radio. The motif, the user interface, the way the buttons work, the layout of the radio, everything is pretty much the same, except this is for the ham radio bands. The batteries are interchangeable, the antennas are interchangeable, etc. So the radio features 2 bands, band A, band B. These can be used as VFOs or channels. To switch between them, you just tap the star button. You can see it switches between them. By default, they're both being monitored. You can just do one band by tapping the pound button down here. The radio is set up sort of like a hybrid between ham radio, HTs, and commercial radios with concepts of zones and channels. The first menu here for the radio is to set things like display, the different band settings, and backlight, etc. It's pretty straightforward. The radio comes with one zone already set up called all channels, but you can create up to 64 zones, and each zone can contain 19 memories, including the 2 VFOs. You can see here that I programmed in a couple of channels already. VFO1 and VFO2 are always there. I programmed in a couple of local repeaters. You give the repeater or channel a name, bandwidth you want to select or want to transmit on. This one should actually be wide. Don't know why I had it set that way. The receive frequency, the transmit frequency. Again, if this is a repeater, it's going to be your offset, your CTCSS or DCS setting. You just scroll through these using the button right here, and it automatically switches between CTCSS, DCS, and inverted DCS. If you want to scan for a CTCSS or DCS code, all you need to do is go into this menu and tap the scan button right here on the receive side, and it will start scanning to see if there is a code being transmitted. Squelch level, transmit power, etc. Some of these other things like the permission set and the signaling system aren't too terribly useful. I mean, you can set a timeout timer if you want. Radio does include FM radio reception and weather channel. You can set alarms for different channels going off. I don't know how useful that is, but it's something you can do. One nice thing about this radio is you can program these side buttons to do a whole bunch of different things, as well as the top button. So it can be programmed to work on long press or short press. Like I have this one set to open the squelch to monitor this frequency. You can also set it, for example, I have one set to turn on the FM radio. You want to see what frequency you're on, you just go in the menu. And you can set the the radio frequency. Turn it off there. You can turn it on or off in the menu, or you can program these quick buttons. You can set these to go to favorite frequency. There's, like I said, the manual has all the different 15 or 16 functions that you can set these to. It's got your typical flashlight that you see on a lot of these inexpensive radios. This radio is IP67 rated, meaning it's waterproof to 3 feet. It's very tough. I mean, this is a radio you can beat and bang up. You're not going to have a problem with it. It comes with a belt clip. I didn't put that on at this time. The speaker mic on the side is a Motorola style. Retevis sells these. They're very inexpensive, or if you have a Motorola radio and you want to use it here, it'll work just fine as well. So programming the radio is as simple as just going down to a channel that you want to add and adding in the new frequency and name, just like I showed you. If you want to add another zone, like say you travel between different cities, like I live here in the LA area, but sometimes travel up to Seattle or Phoenix or Houston, places like that. If I want to channel in program in a few frequencies for those different cities, it's easy to add a zone, give it a name, and have them pre-selected and just switch to that zone. Now the scanning of this radio works with scan lists. You go in and you set up different frequencies, different channels that you want to add to your scan list, and then you scan that scan list. There is a bug as of the time of this video. If I put this into VFO mode by holding down the exit button and I tell it to scan the VFO, you get a scan error. Now I've submitted this. They say they're going to fix this. It'll do a VFO scan. I have no reason to doubt that they will. They've already fixed a bunch of things on this radio throughout the beta testing process. So they just keep adding new things like that into the queue, and they'll get them done. You can see the screen is really bright. I've got it turned up all the way as bright as it'll go. Now, because it's an LCD screen indoors, you can see it just fine. In the bright sun, this will wash out. There are a few menus here that still have the older style of text where it's black lettering on the blue background. They're going through all the different menus and finding all those and changing it so it's white on blue background so you can see it better outdoors. So if you find one of those still that's left over, you can send it into Retevis Help. They'll put it on the list for a future firmware update. Speaking of firmware updates, the radio comes with a USB cable, and this plugs into the speaker mic that you do your firmware updates, and also it comes with a CPS programming to do program all of the features that we're looking at here today through the PC, and that's really simple to use as well. Now, one note, if you're using a newer PC with Windows 11 based off of the ARM architecture, such as the new Windows notebook or laptop, Surface laptop, the driver for this is not included in the software package. I put a link down below in the comments with instructions on where to find the driver on Microsoft's website. You'll want to install that if you have one of those newer laptops. I want to talk a little bit about this call tone function. It's kind of interesting. It's a little gimmicky, but it's kind of fun. So if I go into call tone, you can see, and I'll turn this volume up so you can hear it a little bit. It's got these different tones, like a telephone tone or signaling tone. So it's got a bunch of these, and what you can do is if you have friends that you're in a nearby area, maybe it's really noisy, or I don't know that I do this on a repeater unless you, I don't know that I do this on a repeater unless you've got permission from the repeater owner. But maybe in a simplex environment, you can hold down this tone button and it will do a push to talk and transmit that tone at the same time and then unkey, kind of like a telephone ringing, to let another person know that, hey, you're calling them. So if you had 3 or 4 guys in an area and you set a different tone so you can know who it was, or the same one, it'd be a way to key up and let the other person be alerted that, hey, you're trying to get a hold of them. So that's kind of neat. You can see on the bottom here, these buttons, you long press each of these buttons to get directly to that menu item to adjust it. It's very simple. So that's kind of a quick run through of some of the major features of the radio. You can see it doesn't have a lot of fancy features. It's got core basic features that you expect in a 2-meter 440. Very rugged, fits nice in the hand. The price is right. It's under $100. At first, when I got this radio, I wasn't too enthusiastic about the layout and the design of the user interface. But through the refinement process, as it went through the beta into the release, I became more and more accustomed to it, and I like it more and more. It's a 5-watt radio, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. I know there's some more higher power 10-watt radios out there, but 5 watts is really all you need in a handheld most of the time. It's really simple to use. I think the beginners and people that have been in the hobby for a long time that just want a real basic radio, easy to program on the fly. You can program out in the field, no problem. You don't have to remember a bunch of cryptic stuff to do it, or hook it up to your PC and program it quickly there. I think people will like this radio just due to its simplicity and its ruggedness, and it won't break the bank. So that's pretty much it. The new Retevis Ailunce HA1UV. Check them out. They're available on Amazon.com and check out some of the threads about it on worldwidedx.com.